You have been absorbing their behavior, their rudeness, their disrespect, their calculated cruelty, and every single time you swallowed it. You took the high road. You stayed calm when they pushed. You stayed silent when they lied. You smiled when they embarrassed you in front of people you cared about. And they watched you do it every single time. They watched you take it, and they learned. They learned that you would always be the one to walk away, that you would always be the one to apologize first, that no matter what they did, you would reset the board and go again. You were not being the bigger person. You were training them to keep going. And the worst part, nobody is going to tell you this, because the system that trained you to absorb it benefits from you absorbing it. Nobody told you this was happening. They sold you a version of strength that was actually submission, dressed in noble language. Be the bigger person. Rise above it. Don't lower yourself to their level. Every adult in your life said some version of this. Every motivational quote reinforced it. And for years you believed it. Because the alternative felt ugly. It felt like weakness to fight back. It felt like losing to respond. So you held it. You processed it alone. You stayed dignified while they got exactly what they wanted. A man who will never hold them accountable. You are not broken. You were programmed. There is a difference. The calm, forgiving, emotionally controlled man is not a threat to anyone who wants to exploit him. He is an asset, a resource, a place where bad behavior goes to die quietly, leaving no consequences behind. The people around you who keep winning, they are not smarter than you. They simply stopped playing by rules that were designed to keep them still. There is a man who studied power with no illusions, no romanticism, no softness. Niccolò Machiavelli looked at the world exactly as it was, not as people pretended it to be. He watched kingdoms fall not because their rulers were evil, but because they were too principled at the wrong moment. He watched good men get destroyed not by enemies, but by the very mercy they extended to those enemies. And he wrote it down so that someone, maybe you, would one day understand. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved." If you cannot be both, that is not a call to cruelty. That is a diagnosis. A man who is only loved is a man who can be taken for granted. A man who carries no consequence, no edge, no boundary that costs something to cross. That man will be crossed again and again until there is nothing left of him worth taking. Forgiveness without cost is permission. The moment you forgive someone who never paid a price for what they did, you have not demonstrated strength. You have demonstrated that they can do it again. Think about the person in your life right now who keeps repeating the same behavior. The friend who always cancels. The colleague who always takes credit. The person who says sorry and then does it again within weeks. They are not sorry. They are testing, and every time you accept it, you reset the test back to zero. Forgiveness is not the problem. Consequence-free forgiveness is the trap. Starting today, make forgiveness conditional on changed behavior, not on their words. Words cost them nothing. Behavior costs everything. Peace is not the same as tolerance. You have confused your silence with peace. But silence under disrespect is not peace, it is suppression. And suppressed things do not disappear. They calcify. They become resentment. They become the voice at 3 in the morning that tells you something went wrong somewhere, and you cannot name it. True peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the presence of clear boundaries. A man at peace does not tolerate what offends his dignity. He removes it. He addresses it calmly and without performance. He lets people know without drama that this is not a place where that behavior lands safely. This knowledge is for protection, not destruction. Drop this in the comments. My silence is a choice, not a submission. They escalate when they sense no resistance. There is a psychological principle called operant conditioning. When the behavior produces a reward, even just the reward of no consequence, it is repeated. And it grows. The person who spoke rudely to you once and faced nothing, they came back with something slightly worse. Because the first time taught them the boundary does not exist. They are not consciously evil most of the time. They are simply following the map you gave them. Your job is to redraw the map. One clear, firm, emotionless response, not a speech, not a confrontation, just a line, changes the entire dynamic. It signals that the terrain has shifted. Most of them will retreat immediately because they were never looking for a fight. They were looking for someone who would not fight back. Drop this in the comments. I am not safe to disrespect. The high road has a cost they never mention. Every time someone tells you to take the high road, ask yourself, who benefits from you being up there? The high road is peaceful, yes. It keeps your hands clean, but it also keeps you out of the arena. It keeps you watching from above while someone else occupies the ground you abandoned. There is a version of the high road that is genuine, where you have already won, and you choose grace from a position of power. Then there is the version most men are sold, where they take the high road because they are afraid of what happens if they don't. One is sovereignty. The other is fear wearing the mask of virtue. Know which road you're actually on, because only one of them leads somewhere worth going. Being easy to read makes you easy to control. They know how you will respond. That is the problem. They have studied your patterns, perhaps not deliberately, but instinctively. They know you will eventually soften. They know you will not escalate. They know that if they apply guilt, then pity, then the appeal to your decency in the right sequence, you will fold. The most powerful thing you can do is become unpredictable, not erratic, not explosive, just unreadable. When they cannot calculate your response, they cannot preload their manipulation. The moment you introduce uncertainty into your behavior, the entire dynamic shifts, because you can only be controlled by someone who has figured out your patterns. Break the pattern. Drop this in the comments. They cannot play a game. They cannot read. Your standards are your armor. A man without standards is a man who can be treated any way the room decides. Standards are not arrogance. They are architecture. They define what you will accept and what you will not. And they signal to everyone around you exactly what category of treatment you require. The men you admire, the ones who seem untouchable, who seem to move through the world without being diminished. They have standards so embedded in their identity that people feel them before a single word is spoken. That energy is not natural. It is built. It is practiced. It starts with one decision, made and held, repeated until it becomes the structure of your entire personality. You do not announce your standards. You live them, and people adjust. You have spent years being the person who holds it together so that everyone else does not have to. You absorbed the discomfort so the room stayed smooth. You were the one who walked away so that conflict did not escalate. You were the one who processed the damage alone, in the dark, after everyone else went home satisfied. And they called that maturity. They called that strength. But you felt it, didn't you? That quiet erosion. That slow disappearance of the version of yourself that did not take things lying down. That version is not gone, but it has been waiting. The old you is dead. What is left is something harder, something that has been through enough to know exactly what it will and will not accept. You are a weapon pointed at your own future, not at anyone else, not at revenge, at the life you should have been building while you were busy managing everyone else's feelings. You belong to no one, not to their expectations, not to their image of who you should be, not to the version of you that they found easiest to deal with. That man is finished. Drop this in the comments. The old me was the lesson. The new me is the result. If this video reached something in you, something you have not heard said clearly before, then you already know you are in the right place. This channel does not sell comfort. It does not tell you what feels good. It tells you what is real. Subscribe only if you are ready to keep going. Only if you are done sleepwalking through a life that keeps asking you to make yourself smaller. And before you leave, answer this one question in the comments and think about it honestly. What is the one situation in your life right now where you have been playing the bigger person and quietly paying for it every single day?